All right, I'm going to call a meeting to order. Right now, we have 3 members here. We're going to have a 4th one showing up, Veronica. She let me know she'd be a little late. Absent is, Nazi, our chair, and Jacob.
Yep, Jake just walked in.
Jacob's not absent, and Veronica's here too. Look at that. The only one that's not here is... See, we just started fumbling through saying we're calling the meeting to order. Now we're really in order. And J-A-C-O-P. That's why you didn't answer my call, because you were gonna walk in the door and go, ta-da, but we didn't have any trumpets. So, to my left, far left, Jacob Morrison, Richard Semple, I'm sorry, Rick. Richard Semple, Troy Larson, Veronica Debonese, myself, Jim Ekabachi. I'm the clerk, but I sit in as vice chair, and I'll be chairing tonight in the absence of our chairman, Nazi El-Khalasi. First order of business in front of us under preliminary business is the reconsideration of a variance for an undersized lot on Squirrel Island Road. I see Attorney Perry in the room. He's going to explain it to us. I'm going to explain to the board while you're coming up why this is in front of us again.
And I'm going to recuse myself on this.
You're going to recuse yourself as a living across the street from the lot.
Right.
This came before the board before, and you can, Bob, you can, Attorney Perry, you can interrupt me if I'm saying anything out of line, but I'm going by memory. Came before us for consideration of a variance for an undersized lot. You requested a variance, not a special permit, correct?
Well, the relief sought,
Pardon me?
the relief sought was to overturn the building inspector, and in the alternative, to grant a variance.
Okay. So, it didn't pass the board's approval to be considered a buildable lot, but there was not a unanimous vote against it either. And our decision therefore was negative, and the decision was challenged by the applicant. It's gone through the process. It's now time for it to go to court and have a judge make a decision. The judge usually sends it back and says, you know, are you guys sure that's where you are? But before that even happens, town council has kind of asked us to reconsider. So when town council asks us to reconsider, that's kind of like a telegraph of, you're gonna lose in court, guys. Now, that doesn't mean we have to change our decision. But all that said, I'm gonna ask Attorney Perry to tell us, it's your client that owns the property, correct?
My client that owns the property. My name is Robert Perry, incidentally, and I represent the plaintiff petitioner here. And since we are 4 years since this first started, I'm going to give each of you a package here because I don't know if any of you have any in here. This is the second petition that I filed, as it says in the cover letter. I filed a petition in 2018 to overturn the building inspector and grant a variance.
He's asking you to speak through a microphone so it gets recorded properly.
2018 petition didn't go anywhere.
Recording in progress.
You okay? That's okay, yep. All right. Veronica wasn't on the board at this time, but of course, she was in a butter at that time.
No, she was on the board, she recused
She wasn't
herself.
on the board in 2018. If I made
Oh,
a
okay,
mistake,
I'm sorry.
okay? Nazi was.
Yeah, I stand
Nazi
corrected.
reclused himself. We went on for months and months and months, and we were unable to get a board. So, the thing went nowhere.
It was in a period when the zoning board was lacking members.
That's correct, that's correct. Nobody was showing up. Jake was the only one showing up, and you sometimes. So we just didn't have a
For the
board.
record, I was not on the board.
You were not on the board, that's why I'm giving you new papers
Neither
here.
you nor Troy were on the board.
That's correct. What happened ultimately is we just never got a hearing. I kept asking for a hearing. We didn't get it. Finally, Nazi said, well, look, why don't you file the petition over again? And I said, well, why should I have to do that? Well, we reached an agreement. I filed the petition over again without filing fees. The same exact petition as I filed to begin with. I held the board's feet to the fire at that time, and I insisted that I was entitled to a 5-member board because that's what we have registered with the state, is a 5-member board. I came before this board a day or two before the time was expiring. Was Nazi reclused himself. Veronica was on the board by then. She reclused herself. And I argued that I was entitled to a 5-member board. Mr. Ekabachi chaired. He said, why don't you tell us what you would say, and then we'll decide, you know, where we're going from there. So I gave a partial presentation. And Mr. Ekabachi said, that's it, you made your presentation, we're gonna take a vote.
And-
Well,
And if I may.
go ahead.
Just so you guys understand, this lot was part of another lot, but it's part of a lot that was cut in half by a road. So the lot wasn't created as an undersized lot. The lot became undersized because a road ran through it. It kind of created.
As soon as I finish with this, just one last piece, I'll get into explaining the history of the lot, okay?
Okay.
But I forget where I was now. You have to excuse me, I don't know how old I'm getting.
That's all right, I'm almost
Okay,
as,
so what happened? I
almost
didn't,
as
I don't
young as
forget
you.
where I am. I pretend I do. What happened is Mr. Ekabachi insisted we go to a vote. 4-member board. My objection, which preserved my rights in that respect, but talk about a surprise. 3 or 4 members reclused themselves. Part of my case in the Superior Court is, that's just like not being here, hence you didn't have a right to send me before the board at all, and I should be deemed allowed. Well, I'm sure you're all familiar with 40A, sections, 10? There's a part of the section that says that we submit to the town clerk a certification that the board didn't vote. I did that. I served all of the people, I served them with a statute, did everything right that I had to do. Well, the day before the appeal period was going to run, not having heard anything from the town clerk, I got a letter from the town clerk saying, oh, by the way, here's your copy of the finding that was entered 19 days ago. Well, preserved plenty of rights for me, so I did what I had to do. I sued everybody in sight. I brought the thing to Superior Court. We went in on a conference, I don't know, 3 months ago or so now. And at conference with the magistrate, all counsel agreed that this should come back before the board and be reconsidered before we actually went to court. So here I am. I have given you a copy of my second petition, same as my first in its entirety. There are, to the best of my knowledge, no changes. I'm going to give you a couple of other things just to make it easy for you. Part of my petition is a,
don't talk too much while you're passing it out, because the guy behind the curtain is gonna scream you're not on a microphone. Thank you, sir.
Is there any map,
gonna give you-
plot
I'm
plan?
going to give you that. I'm going to give you a lot of things. I would have probably brought them up at all, but I keep forgetting this microphone. I thought I spoke loud enough to be heard, but maybe not to be recorded. What I just gave you is a road map, state road map, from 1903 that shows Squirrel Island Road in existence at that time. It actually was in existence long before then, but 1903 is more than good enough since zoning didn't come about until 53, 51? And I will show you where that is on that place. Pretty hard to see. If you look about the middle, you see Blackmore Pond Road? Beside Blackmore Pond? And then right aside of that is Square Island Road running down about parallel. I'm going to give you 3 things all at once here next, just so that I don't mess up the recording here. And in your packet is a photograph of the lot. And I'm just going to give you the color one, because you have a black and white one. The color one's obviously a lot better. Additionally, I'm going to give you a small copy of the plan of the lot, just because it's easier to see than the big one. If I give you these big ones, which I'm going to do, you may get mad at me. I did bring for each of you a full-size copy of the plan that was in effect at the time. And I will explain what this means as we get moving along.
Thank you.
I guess you can split that on the end.
Yeah, I could. Well, we don't want them yelling at us. You guys want to see this big map? I'm pretty familiar.
A little smaller, or we need to have,
You want to see,
we can share that one.
Okay, makes sense.
oh, he's got it, he's got it. Okay.
That's good.
Oh, I know that road very well, I used to ride my dirt bike down when I was younger. So,
Very good, you all the way around. And the cul-de-sac. This is I live right here.
It's right here, right?
That's it.
Okay.
And it shows,
Yeah, I see it.
make a lot of sense.
here's where I want.
So my position, gentlemen, is this lot came into existence sometime in the late 1800s. If you looked at the deed, you'd have the exact date, but it doesn't make an awful lot of difference. It's a long time ago. At one point in time, for about 100 years, all of the land to both the east and the west of Squirrel Island, on the other side of what is now Ferring Hill Road, way, way back, all belonged to one group. This was a group of investors who invested in the town of Wareham. Something went wrong in like 1880, 1883. They had a dispute of some kind. I don't remember. I've been told what in the history, but it doesn't matter what it is. They split the land. And when they split the land, they struck a line, which for some reason, they struck such that it left this lot on the west side of Squirrel Island Road, and all of the rest of the land that went to what ultimately became the, well, we know it, here's the Pepper George property, but really the Handy property. And on the opposite side, on the west side, we had the Shirtlift property. And those were maintained for many long years until, basically until Mr. Pepper George died. His nephew inherited the property and sold it to my client. So my position is that that lot, although only 33,000 or so square feet, was grandfathered. You can't, no matter what a plan says, you can't have part of a lot on one side of the road and part of a lot on the other side of the road. Now, when I submitted the package that's in your materials to Mr. Aquina, he came back and said, well, it shows on that big plan, as a result, I say it's not grandfathered. Well, it doesn't matter what an engineer shows on that big plan. I don't remember who did the plan, but who just screwed up. It shouldn't have been, the big part is titled remaining land, shouldn't have been entitled lot. It should have been entitled a parcel, because, once again, engineers don't make lots. The planning board makes lots, you people make lots under certain circumstances, and of course, lots are grandfathered, in effect before zoning, or at least before zoning changes. So, I was very unhappy with Mr. Aquina's decision, and I brought it to this board. That was the 2018 filing. And, once again, I've already told you what happened to this board. Getting back to the lot. Let's talk about, now, I've told you why it's grandfathered. Let me tell you why, if you choose not to consider that issue, you ought to grant the variance. This lot is one of those things that absolutely does satisfy the requirements of the statute for a variance. This is a triangular lot. It is, let me give you the exact number now, although you've got it there in front of you. 31,430 feet, 31,433 square feet. Simple geometry. With this, a square lot, a rectangular lot, it would be double that size. It would exceed the $60,000, 60,000 square foot required in that zoning district. It has plenty of frontage, has way over 180 square feet required in R60 on Squirrel Island Road. It has over 180 square feet on Fairing Hill Road. The problem is area. You can put a house on this lot, you can fit all your setbacks with no problem whatsoever. 31,433 square feet is a big lot. I looked at the lots up and down Fairing Hill Road, County Road, other R60 zones in the area, and the majority of the lots by far are well under 60,000 square feet. No different than look at, you know, the lots up at Shangri-La, White Island. Look at the lots at Swiss Beach. Look at the lots in Onset. Almost all of this town is fraught with lots that are undersized. This was an old town. And most of these lots were developed just as this one was prior to zoning. The fact that this lot is undersized due to the shape, and the shape is one of the criteria set forth in section 10 of 40A, it creates a hardship. My guys have been forbidden to build on this lot, despite the fact it's a beautiful lot, and I just ask you to look at the picture. It's a corner lot, frontage on both streets, very, very nice lot. There wouldn't be a hardship if it weren't for the shape of the lot. So, statute is satisfied. This lot is no good for anything other than a residential use. That's all it's good for. You can't use it for anything else. You can't use it commercially. It's not zoned for it. No board is ever going to allow it. There's just nothing else to do with it other than build a house on it. That's what my guys would like to do. You're not going to have any problems with derogating from the intent of the bylaw because, once again, probably in town, 90% of the lots are undersized, as we all know. One more lot undersized isn't going to substantially derogate. Now, anything you do derogates from the intent of the bylaw, obviously. You're the appeals board. The key word is substantial. And there's no substantial problem here. So, you know, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to address them. I think basically I've covered everything that you need here, but I'm happy to answer any other question you may have and see if we can get to a bottom line on this thing.
Jake, you got any questions?
Nothing at this time.
No questions. None.
Okay. Nobody from the board having any particular questions. I'm gonna see if there's anybody sitting in the room here that's got interest in this. Is there anybody in the room that would like to speak either in favor or against this application? Hearing none, I'm gonna go back. Oh, somebody's waving at me. Come on up, identify yourself, please, name and address, and...
My name is Eric Lintula, 15 Squirrel Island Road, and I am an abutter to this proposed site.
North, south, east, west, which way do you... Fairing Hill Road is one.
I'm on the west. This. I'll tell you in a second. Let me look at the-
Okay. Are these two the same thing?
Assuming,
We
you
have
got
two.
two? 'Cause I don't have any.
This.
What's it?
Yeah, I got an extra one if you...
I
Okay.
got one,
I
thank you.
got plenty here. That's all right.
Okay. And I'm sorry, sir, you said your name and I,
Eric Lintilla, live at
Eric.
15 Squirrel Island Road.
okay.
I'll make this short. First and foremost, the lot does not meet the zoning requirement because of its size, which is 31,433 square feet. A proposal to build this same lot was denied in 2019 for the same reason. It's undersized. It's a triangular-shaped lot. You can look at the images I've given you. It's a triangular-shaped lot at the corner of Fairing Hill and Squirrel Island Road, which in itself it becomes problematic. It's hazardous trying to enter Squirrel Island Road from west coming off Fairing Hill Road, having to do a hairpin turn, not able to see what's coming from Squirrel Island Road. And then traffic coming east off Fairing Hill Road is not a typical left turn, but a quick veering off to the left and straight ahead to enter the road. This section of Fairing Hill Road also experiences high volume and often speeding traffic. Adding to the congestion at this intersection are daily mail deliveries. All the mailboxes for the residents on Squirrel Island Road are at this intersection, as well as the school bus pickup and drop-off of children, where there are a number of cars parked there waiting to pick up and drop off the children in the morning, in the afternoon, and the number of children on Squirrel Island Road is growing. 3 years ago, when this plan was proposed, I presented to this board that one new house was being constructed and more were planned that would mean more congestion and more children on the road. Since then, 3 new houses have been built, 1 more is under construction, and at least 1 or 2 more are planned. Squirrel Island Road is a dead-end street which draws hikers, dog walkers from neighboring streets because of its somewhat solitude with ponds and cranberry bogs to enjoy. Also adding to the congestion and danger as the driveway for lot 1009-1, which intersects smack in the middle of the intersection, and the driveway for 1002 is less than 40 feet away from this intersection. The residents on Squirrel Island Road have no problem with homes being built within the proper zoning laws and size. Trying to shoehorn in a house at this intersection, which does not meet the zoning requirements, affects all the residents, and especially the safety to children. Therefore, this variance for reconsideration should not move forward. Thank you.
Thank you for your time, thank you for your well-prepared statement and your documents. Somebody else wants to come up and speak?
Veronica Debonese, 4 Squirrel Island Road. I'm an abutter, so I just want to make a couple of comments about the property because it's directly across the street. I agree entirely with everything that my neighbor, Eric Lintala, has commented on, but I also wanted to add that that lot is actually in use for the solar field that is down Squirrel Island, but behind some of the houses there. There's electrical, I don't know where, that's where it meets in all the meters, I'm not
On
sure
this lot?
exactly. On that lot, yes. So I don't know how that works and the leasing of it, but the lot is in use as well. So, and it's, the board made a decision against it the first time it came forward. And it's also my recollection that the applicant didn't meet the time restraints or constrictions that he had to, and I heard the comments about how the clerk didn't get it till the 19th day. But regardless, the requirement to meet at a certain cutoff for time wasn't met. I don't even know why the court's looking at it. I haven't seen anything from the courts come certified mail or anything. So I just think if the court is gonna pass this, I think we should let the court pass it and not this board, because we already denied it, and he hasn't presented anything new in that effect. That's all I have to say.
Thank you for your comments. You put your name and everything into the record, didn't you?
Yes, you did.
He did.
Yeah, okay, I was listening, but I was looking at this, okay. Any other comments from the board? Either way,
Well, I'm kind of having a hard time with it because you made the remark, well, it was brought up by you that council says that we have to.
no, he didn't say have to.
He didn't say that.
So, and
Not
again,
have to.
I wasn't here the first time. And secondly, I believe that if the land's being used by somebody and it's already active, I mean, I don't even know why we're voting on it.
So would you vote or would you recuse on this?
If I may, I'd like to address that issue of the solar
Sure.
system. I'd also like to remind the board, it was not denied.
I understand it wasn't denied.
Well, I mean, you've
It was-
had two people
it-
stand
It
and
was
say
almost
denied.
prescriptive.
That's not correct. The only thing on that lot that relates to the solar system further down are telephone poles. Just like there are telephone poles probably on Veronica's lot, so maybe there shouldn't be a house there. There are 2 or 3 on my lot down further, so maybe I shouldn't have a house. There's no other electronics at this time on those lots that I know of, and I look every day because I drive in and out of there. As far as any congestion, this lot would probably cause less congestion than the last 2 lots on the other side of Squirrel Island Road, one of which is Veronica's and one of which is the one that Eric talked about, which is dangerous. I mean, they brought the cars out in a dangerous manner. As far as causing any more congestion than we already have, we don't have a lot of congestion. We do have trouble coming from Ferring Hill Road and making a right-hand turn onto Squirrel Island Road. It's always been that way from the time that, the road was created. I don't know what you can do about that.
It's private, it's not a public way, is it owned by?
It's a private road that the public has the right of access to. The town of Wareham maintains. In fact, they just recently regraded and re-rolled out the
Okay.
asphalt, the reprocessed asphalt. They plow it in the winter. I mean, it borders on a public way, but it is a private road. I just asked you to consider the fact that somebody, I think it was Eric, said, yeah, new houses have been built there. I think we either have or can have on that part of the road 13 houses. I'd have to count individually, but something like that. Further down, you've got another 6 or 8 houses, all of which are on undersized lots, and all of which use that road, despite the fact that legally they have a different road that they're supposed to use for ingress and egress. Nobody bothers. I mean, they can use the road as far as I'm concerned, as far as everyone else is concerned. But this is no worse than any other lot on that road, and probably better. The only difference is the fact that in the 1880s, when it was divided off, it was 31,000 some odd square feet instead of 60,000. So I ask you to consider this petition, this remand favorably. It saves us an awful lot, all of us. And as far as the case before the court is based on a number of issues, not just this board not voting. It's the reclusing, it's the giving me the thing late, it's all of the different issues. And you may not remember, Veronica was served a long time ago, some of the complaint, rather than the certified mail address being served with that case like this. And she wouldn't get any further since.
I see, Mr. Lintala, I see you waving at me again. I don't think it's because you think I'm cute.
Just a point of clarification, all of those lots on Squirrel Island Road are over 60,000 square feet.
Well, that's,
So, I mean, so the talking about this, it's a good lot. It's under the number of square feet that's, should be passed. It's 31,000 square feet. That's half of what it should be. That's the zoning law, period, folks, period.
okay, thank you, Eric, Mr. Lintala. So, my concern tonight is, first of all, how do we overturn our prior decision? Secondly, no matter what we do, if we grant you relief, it seems the neighbors are gonna challenge, of course, now the
They
burden
do,
changes.
that's a different matter.
Then the burden changes from you to
That's
them.
correct.
But it does seem like it's a little bit of a, I don't know if I want to use the word conundrum or mess, the way it's been handled over 4 years. Richard, what's, you know, I know you had some, you know, what are your thoughts? Would you rather see the court make the decision, or would you, are you comfortable tonight, or do you need more time to think about this?
I'm not comfortable tonight.
Okay. Jacob, are you comfortable tonight?
Yes, I am.
Okay. You've got a decision in your brain? Okay. Troy,
I don't have a decision in my brain.
you need more time to think?
I do. Just because, I mean, this is, we haven't heard, Rick and I haven't heard anything about this before.
Yeah, and I get it, and so I think I'm gonna ask a member of the board to make a recommendation that we continue and give them a chance to get up to speed here.
Well, I mean, it bothers
Again,
me.
it's a lot for
Not
them
that
to-
you get there,
it's
but
a
it
lot
bothers
to-
me that they don't have any questions.
Well, they don't have any
happy to
questions.
answer
'cause
them,
They've got a lot of information thrown at
gave it-
them, and,
So in other words, you want to digest all I've given you?
Exactly.
I don't have a problem coming back.
yeah, so if either you or somebody request a continuance till the next meeting, and let's,
Well, if I may, I'd rather not do it the next meeting. I've got that site plan review on the.
okay. So you wanna go into the, second
Do
meeting,
you
the
have a
first
meeting
meeting
the
in
6th of
July?
July? Do you have a
Sec-
meeting the 6th of July?
I believe we
I
have.
think that would be the first meeting.
I think you are correct.
I'd rather come then if we're gonna come back, I guess. I'm gonna be overwhelmed next week.
Well, I'm looking at the July calendar here, and I see, unless I'm looking at the wrong thing, I see the 13th, not the 6th.
The 13th?
I see the 13th.
Well, then,
13th.
all right, let me find my, then I have to come back next week, I guess. Week after.
It's only a week's different.
13th and the 27th. Looks like.
And the other one is, right now, we're on 8, and we've got a few things starting to show up for 22 on June. You tell us what your,
Well, I mean, you know, I'm gonna have to. We're due back in court July 11th. So if you don't have a meeting till the 13th, I've got to come back before then.
either that or come back on the 13th and tell us how you made out in court.
Well, I can do that. I mean, if that's what the board wants, I can do that.
Are you able to be here on the 22nd somehow?
Well, I'm here. I'm here for probably most of the night on the 22nd.
Let's,
That's why I just thought it'd be easier on me if I didn't have to do it too, but I'll come back on the 22nd.
you remember the petition number on that? The application? I don't know.
You mean the original petition number?
Let me see, it's probably on here.
15-22?
Oh, it can't be.
No.
That ain't it.
I'm just gonna put 0 Squirrel Island on here,
It's
and
not even on here.
Oh, well, wait a minute, I got it. It's in your packet, and I've got it here. Let me take a look.
I thought it was.
Yeah, it's gotta be, because I attach,
Your original application.
well, the finding. It wouldn't be on the original application, but it would be on the finding. 1 in favor, 0 against, 3 recluse. So I just gotta find it on the paper. One of you guys can maybe find it faster than I can. I'm looking. You don't tell me I don't see it. There's gotta be there.
Yeah, I'm seeing the deed.
I don't see it offhand. Oh, you know what I'm doing? I'm sorry. I'm looking in my petition rather than the complaint. It's here in the complaint. You don't have it. You don't have it, folks. I've got it here.
Okay. You don't think it's in this file?
No, it's not. It's in the complaint. So I shall find it.
So far, and that's... So we're gonna return, we have to vote on it, but... Continue.
So we making a motion to continue?
We're gonna make a motion to continue to 6/22, 2022. And that was your motion?
I make a motion to continue this
Do
meeting.
we have a second on that?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's continued.
To the
I just-
22nd.
Huh?
To the 22nd.
22nd
Okay.
of June. I just wanted to put the, is it 18, or is it something? I can get it and add it on here later. I was just trying to make it easy for
Well, this
Sonia.
is 3318.
3318?
Yeah. Maybe that's not, that can't be it either.
That could be 30, it was.
No, that's the old one, that's the old one, that's the first one. Here we go. No, this still says 30, everything says 3318.
Maybe you just brought it back as 3318
Oh,
and never
must
got a
be.
20 assigned number. Because you
Must
came
be,
back
okay.
under the same application.
Well, I guess we can work with it, same thing, same papers.
3318.
Yes, that's what I have here in the complaint.
That makes more sense, because didn't you say they didn't make you pay an extra fee?
That's correct.
Yeah, so they probably used.
Oh, so you assigned the same number, you think, that makes sense
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Okay.
There's too much sense being made here. We're starting to not be non-governmental, making that much sense. Do you want any of this stuff back, or can we create a folder, a new?
All right, thank you, gentlemen, good night.
Thank you. You wanna get, yeah, you wanna take any of it home, or?
No,
Okay.
I'm good. I can drive by.
Jake, do you need anything?
I'm gonna take this with
You
me.
want, okay, you've already made a decision, so it doesn't matter. You're not gonna be easily swayed. The next thing we're gonna discuss is an open meeting law complaint. Is there anybody here regarding that? I don't believe there is, okay.
Someone online.
Do you have somebody on Zoom? Yes. Okay, so, before we set Zoom loose, I wanted to check this out and see what it was. It might have been in your folders, lady and gentlemen. There was an official complaint because of minutes not being up to date. And that's what this is. As you all know, the office has gone through personnel changes, sicknesses, injuries, et cetera, and they're doing the best they can to keep the minutes up to date. If there's anything that anybody needs that's not in a publicly produced set of minutes, the secretary has said, just come into the office, tell me what you need, and I'll get it for you off the disk. And they're doing the best they can to get the minutes up to date. With all that said, go ahead, whoever's on Zoom, let them loose. Kenneth Buckland. Go ahead, Mr. Buckland.
Good evening, how are you doing?
Good.
Good, you can hear me then. This is a open meeting law complaint by Nora Bickey. It's when she was looking at doing research on a complaint that she was going to file. She found that there were minutes missing from some of the key meetings that she was looking for. As you said, there have been a number of absences and staff changes that have put us behind on doing minutes of the meeting. It's usually up to the clerk of the board to be responsible for the minutes of the meeting, but I wouldn't put that on Jim because I know that he's got a busy life as well too.
That's all right, you can throw me under the bus.
What this complaint requires is that we respond with a way we'll be what we'll be doing. We have to say that we'll be producing the minutes as requested in the at some deadline that we set to produce those minutes. And so I would ask that if there is some availability from anybody on the board to help draft minutes, that we get you involved as well too, so we can get this done as quickly as possible. You know, we can't drag this out for months. We got to get this done on a short time frame. Say we can. I think we can do this in 4 weeks to get the all the minutes done that are sitting out, and they go back into the year 2021 as well, at the end of the year, and a number of the minutes for this year as well.
Okay, so on the second page of this here, that's where all the different meetings that are missing on the, are listed. Is that what I'm seeing here? Down into the third paragraph?
That's right. Those are minutes that she was looking for that are missing.
Okay. So we need 10:13, 10:27, 11:10, 12:08, from 21, and we need January 12th, 26th, February 9th, February 23rd, March 9th, March 23rd, and May 13th in 2022. So they want a response. So what's the response? We give them a response. We're gonna do the best we can to get them caught up.
Can I ask a question, Ken, of you?
Ken,
Yes.
she's asking a question of you.
Yeah.
Are there any funds to perhaps hire somebody to record the minutes for the meetings?
Well, it's recorded.
We have some funds that were put up for the for meeting minutes. We can use some people for this. It doesn't have to rely solely on the staff of the planning office.
Because I
To,
have someone in
complete.
mind that actually does minutes, I think, for, she does them for Fairhaven and Rochester currently. And I know she would be willing to do Wareham.
Why don't you give me her contact information, and I'll see what she can do for us.
Okay, I'll do that.
So,
One of the other things about the complaint I wanted to add is that Attorney Bickey points out that the handouts that are provided at the meetings are not attached to the meeting minutes. So that the handouts that Mr. Perry and Mr. Lentala handed you are supposed to be attached to the minutes as well to get filed with the town clerk. That is something we'll have to be doing as well with these minutes.
so when we approve minutes, any handouts that were put back in the folder come out of the folder and go with the minutes?
That's correct.
Okay. Okay. So going back to Miss Vicky's complaint here, is there a specific meeting that she's most concerned with that we could focus on first? Because it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, at least 11, nope, 12 meetings that have not been 100% posed yet. Does anybody know if there's or
I
is
think
she,
the one she was concerned most about was January 29th.
January
I believe that's the
29th
date.
of,
2022. Is that what you mean?
I don't see a January 29th on
She's-
here.
Right here.
I may have gotten that one wrong. I believe it was
okay.
January 29th.
Oh, wait a minute. I've been waiting for January 22. That was involved in created blah, blah, blah. But the January meeting was the 12th and the 26th. So the 26th is probably the one that you think that she's most interested in?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So why don't we respond with, we'll do the minutes from the 26th first, and we'll get somebody on those that have slipped through the cracks. And we'll try to get them done within the next 60 days.
That sounds fine. I think we should shorten up the time frame on it and say 30 days.
I know it says 30 days, that's the open meeting law, but I figured I'd let you have a victory. Okay, 30 days. Is that okay with the rest of the board?
Yes.
We don't need to vote on this, it's just, you got our response, right, Ken?
I think you should have a vote as well, too.
Okay. Does
Just for
everybody agree-
procedure.
Does everybody agree that we'll work on the 26th of this year first, and then do what we can to cooperate with Sonia to get the rest of these things up to date? And try to do it all within the next 30 days? Does everybody agree with that time frame?
Yes.
Can we have that in the form of a motion? Somebody say yes, so do it.
I make a
moved.
motion to get the January 26 meeting minutes
First,
first before the rest
and
of
try to address the rest of them within the next 30 days,
within the
okay.
next 30 days.
And can we have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, it's been first and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay. Okay, Ken?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next on the agenda. Done. Okay. Anybody here from 3021 Penrose LLC?
Yes, on Zoom.
On Zoom?
Yes.
Okay. Penrose, and LLC is 4 Littleton Drive. It's a modification of a subdivision. Go ahead, Zoom.
Here it comes. This is Rio Sacchetti. All right. There you go. There you go.
Hello, and thank you for allowing me to speak. This is Rio Sacchetti representing Penrose, the applicant here. And we're applying for basically a modification of a subdivision plan, which we need to clear the title for title insurance companies to insure the new development, because it's currently an unbuilt subdivision of, I believe, 47 lots. 4 had been sold off. The remaining are the comp permit lots, and would like to consolidate all those, I think 43 remaining lots into one parcel.
So there's no change in the plan that was voted on by the board previously? The construction, the buildings, the roads, everything's gonna be the same? It's just a matter of taking multiple lots and combining them into one?
Correct, yeah, to get insurable title.
I get it. And that's all you're looking for from us tonight?
That's correct.
Okay, do you have any more that you want to present to the board?
Kenneth Buckland, has his hand raised.
Okay, go ahead, Ken.
Just that you're acting as the planning board in this instance because this is a comprehensive permit under Chapter 40B. So you are able to address the subdivision or the re-subdivision of the land.
Because there was a variance or something like that, and then it came into our,
No, it's because it was a comprehensive permit,
Okay,
Chapter 40B
okay.
Affordable Housing Project.
okay. It seems pretty clear-cut to me. We just need to agree that, instead of the deed having multiple, I don't know, what did you say, 40 lots? It's gonna be one major lot. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Any questions?
Not at this time.
Any questions? Anybody from the audience with any questions on what this is all about? Anybody have anything to comment? No? Okay. All we need is a motion to agree to allow them to combine all the lots into one lot. And then we can dismiss this, or, put this to bed.
Do we know?
What you want to do is say this is an insubstantial modification of the comprehensive permit.
It is. So we need a motion that this is an insubstantial change.
So moved.
Do I have a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Do we need to take a separate vote, Ken, to say that they can make that change, or we're good with what we've already voted?
I think you should make the vote as well to
Okay, so I need a
create
motion
the subdivision.
that we agree to allow the developer to combine all the lots into one master lot for the development of this project.
So moved.
Got a second on that?
I second.
It's been moved and seconded that we allow the developer to combine all the lots into one master lot for this development. All in favor, say aye.
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 So moved. So it passes. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you very much.
5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, 0. 5, 0, 0. 4, 0, 0. Okay. Next thing up in front of us is tonight is 17-22. That's going to be the rest of the people in the room. Is there anybody on Zoom or anybody here to present for LT Development LLC? Here we go. Come on up, sir. And we got a folder to hand out, and I think this needs to get read in, too. 1722. Is this it? Yep. I'm gonna have to read this in, so.
And are we signing on any of the prior decisions that we've been making tonight? Do we have paperwork for those?
know if I have the folders for them.
Okay.
These were,
Jim, do you get paid double for working extra?
for doing two jobs at once, no.
Twice as much as we get now?
I get double the, pay that I get normally, and one for you, one for Jake. Veronica, Troy.
Thank you.
Myself. So I'm somewhat familiar with this project, but before we get going, and who's presenting for,
Mr. Chairman, Brian Grady with GAF Engineering, here for the applicant.
go ahead.
Did you have to read it in?
Oh, I do, I'm sorry. Duh, I'm trying to make sure thank you, Brian. The zoning board of appeals will hold a public hearing on June 8th, 2022 at 6:30 PM, room 320 of the Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. 02571, to consider petition number 17-22 for special permit from the requirements of section 320 under the Wareham zoning bylaws to LT Development LLC of P.O. Box 882, West Wareham, Mass., proposing to convert an existing storage building to a duplex dwelling structure at 108 High Street, Wareham, Mass. That appears on Assessors Map 47, Lot 1023, in the Wareham Village 2 zoning district. So this is a petition for a special permit. And please explain why you're here, because I don't even understand why we need to talk about this. It looks to me, it's like it's a by right, but go ahead.
Well, it's a special permit as determined by Mr. Moore. I believe you should have his letter in your package stating that this is a special permit use. The creation of the duplex structure, it's 2 one-bedroom units, which will be put into the former dental office building. Stephen Miller, dentist, occupied this building formerly. So it's an existing structure, will be converted to 2 one-bedroom units. It's located in a village district, Wareham Village 2, and the purpose of the village districts is to provide a higher density of dwellings where there are municipal services and close to the center of town. So this is one street up from Main Street. Project is served by municipal sewer and water. We meet the density requirement under the zoning table for the project. Again, the village district is there to promote density and mixed uses. So if you're familiar with the neighborhood, it is a mixed use. There's some offices, there's a church down the street, there's condominiums, there's multiple use structures as well. So, Mr. Akabachi, you're correct, it's a special permit use. It's going in an existing structure. We do not think it will be a detriment to the neighborhood. We think it meets all the requirements under the zoning bylaw for your granting of the special permit, and we do not think it will be a hazard to pedestrian or vehicular traffic, and it will not be a substantial detriment to the neighborhood. And I know you've seen this project before regarding another application, so knowing that you're familiar with the property, I'll end it there and entertain any questions.
So if I'm understanding, and I'm getting up to speed here a little bit, for the board and for anybody listening and reading the commissioner's letter, this is a by right allowed use by special permit. So the bylaw says, yeah, you can do it, but you have to go in front of the zoning board and get a special permit.
Correct. Special permit use, yes.
It's just not, that's section 320, and I'm just looking at 320 right now, Wareham Village 2, and I'm looking at residential uses. And I'm looking at, I'm just not finding the requirement, direct antenna. I'm just not finding the SPZ requirement in the board. That's why I said I don't even know
Well,
why.
I think it's the double cross, isn't it?
It's something at the bottom of the page or something.
Yeah, it's that footnote. I don't have it in front of me.
Jim, I'm gonna recuse myself on this. I didn't know what the project was till I looked at it. I didn't sit on the other one either.
Okay,
Correct, yeah.
okay. But I don't see that in the current bylaws. That's my problem. I don't see the crosses, I don't see the,
Well, can I approach?
you sure can. Maybe I was on the wrong.
It explains it in 320, right?
Yeah, so I think it's here,
Okay, I was on-
determination. Village 2, two-family, double cross there, or whatever that symbol is.
Okay.
Residential. Well, that's a residential subdivision. Well, I might be, you might be taking the cumulative units.
Yeah, okay, let me look at it a little bit more.
So maybe that's what you're doing, taking the cumulative.
Here we are, residential uses,
So if it would be the
Wareham Village 2.
special permit.
And there's the double cross, I see it now, yeah.
Special permit zoning, that must be what they're doing. Because it's 5 units. on the lot.
Existing structures, yep, five plus family dwelling and existing structures. That's where the SPZ comes in. Let me just see what this, two-family dwelling, one family, two family, 3 to 4 family, 5 plus family dwelling, SPZ. I just wanna see what these crosshatches
I think that's
do
just,
or don't do, if anything.
those don't apply.
30 acres or greater, no. Nope, okay. So really, the only thing we're acting on is a special permit.
Correct.
Okay. And it's, did you guys get a chance to look at the plan?
I'm looking at it right now.
Okay. And I've seen it, so but I'm gonna open it again, in case somebody starts talking, I wanna be able to look at the same thing. Brian, what are you showing us here? You're showing us the existing house and the building behind it. Okay. Am I right? Yep.
Yes, the existing home will have a garage addition. The duplex was approved previously. This is, the hearing tonight is for the conversion of the former dental office into 2 one-bedroom units.
This is easier to see. That's done. Parking. Okay. So looking at the second page is easier for me to read.
Yes, that has all the proposed conditions on it.
The duplex that's a separate issue, that's already been voted on.
Correct.
The three-bedroom, single-family home, that's the existing dwelling. That, we're not voting on.
Correct.
The proposed garage is part of this application?
No.
No, we're not voting on that.
No, that's in addition to the existing
In
single-family.
addition to the existing structure, okay. So the
So-
only thing we're voting on is the existing back building being converted. They're calling it a warehouse, but it's really being converted from a dentist's office to two one-bedroom units.
Correct.
That's what we're working on tonight.
That's the only thing before you this evening, correct?
You got it, Jake, Richard, Troy, everybody's got it? Okay. Any questions from the board?
Nope, not for me.
None for me.
Okay. And I'm gonna turn to the public, because I don't think all these people are sitting in the room just because they had nothing better to do tonight. Anybody here from the public that would like to speak either in favor or opposed, or any comments on this project? Come ahead, ma'am, set your name for the record. You've got to speak into one of the microphones. Who you are, where you live.
My name is Lois Ladd. I live at 100 High Street, right next door to 108. And what else do you need? 100 High
Your
Street?
name and address,
Lois-
that's it. Who
Lois
you are and where
Ladd.
you live. We got you.
Okay, all right. I'd like to tell you that I got a notice for the one prior to this, and it got changed to Zoom. I do not have a computer, so I had no voice at that time. I'm glad to have one tonight and to be heard from my point of view. And the duplex, there's one duplex already there, and that's 10 feet from my property line. And it's emotional for me. You'll be able to know that because it is. And I had some questions about, you know, if all these people are going to be in this area, because there were two homes down back that are already filled, the property was cut in half, and the duplex side of me, and the original home, and the duplex that's in question now is the dental office, am I correct?
What we're talking about tonight is the old, for clarity, it's the dentist's office, which was
Okay.
behind, there was a residence and then there was a dentist office behind it.
Okay, so it's not
That's
the
the structure,
original.
that's what we're talking, we're not talking about the two houses on two different
Okay.
lots. We're
Well,
not
this
talking
is
about
my-
the two-family, the
This
duplex.
is my chance.
We're not, you'll have your turn to speak, sir, okay? Yelling across the room doesn't help. Okay, go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, with that many people coming into that High Street address, okay? How about the approaches to High Street? You know, there's gonna have to be approaches for those vehicles to come in for those people that are gonna live there. What that means to me is that there's already a lot of traffic. The hospital is gonna open, and we know that. We know that the emergency room has been on High Street, and we know it's access available on Main Street, across from Bessie Park. Some of those ambulances prefer or have to go down High Street and go down the hill and go to Main Street that way. And the reason being is because the traffic on Main Street, since the bump outs a few years back now, have not allowed enough room, and these are emergency vehicles. Also, the police, I live right there, and they're up and down High Street like crazy doing their business. And the access to High Street is going to take, in my opinion, that I can think about, is parking spaces on Main Street, and there aren't any, really, not many. The church on the other side has a huge parking lot. That parking lot is often full. And in particular, when there's a funeral, it goes down to 108, and the street is full. So there's going to be parking spaces, because I'm a novice, I admit it, but I don't see how they can make access enough to High Street without taking those parking places. That's one thing. In those, yeah, you mentioned the sewer and water, and you say it makes a standard for that?
Ma'am,
That was one of
you're
my,
addressing the board, not the applicant.
all right, I got my answer
That's no
anyway
problem.
by a nod, thank you. And the parking spaces, yeah, and now there's gonna be children. There's sure to be children. There's sure to be school buses. That's gonna be a danger to kids. You know, they can't walk to school anymore. We do have sidewalks, but there's going to be a lot of vehicles, and there's still gonna be some emergency vehicles going down High Street. The miles per hour on High Street is 25, and I don't know when I saw the last one, except this old lady that goes 25 to go to my house and annoys everyone. And now, you know, there's also further down, and I know this doesn't apply, but in the long run it might, because if, I don't know what's going to go down there, but I'm guessing that it would be similar to what's next door to me. If and when that happens, there's going to be all of these things to be concerned about, as well as the ones that I'm concerned about. So, last time I came here, anyway, I don't know how to sound like this without sounding like I'm on the pity pot, but I had had major surgery and I wasn't supposed to be out. It was freezing cold. And this is probably another issue, but you can tell me that. I got here in the freezing cold, and it had gone to Zoom. This is new to me. I've never done this before. And I don't have a computer. So I took my list, and the next workday I went to the office, and they do have my list on record there, because I was denied a voice because I don't have a computer. I was told after that that they're working on it, quote unquote. I heard you when you said the staff is like everybody else and they're doing their best and everything, but I hear this a lot. We're working on it. And I just don't know, let me see, parking spaces. I think that's,
So if I'm trying to listen, and your biggest concern was the parking, and then are they gonna tear that building down and build something bigger in its place? Is that your structures?
well, you know, if they could put another duplex, even a one-bedroom duplex in the dental office, and what's going to happen to the original structure, the home, the residence?
Okay. So to answer your question, the original home is staying, and the dentist office is staying. Nothing else, if I understand this correctly, the structures that are there are standing, they're not getting raised.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
So the
There'd be no
three-bedroom home
changes
is
to the
staying.
footprint, correct.
The dental office is not being torn down and replaced with a duplex. It's just gonna be made into two studio or one-bedroom.
Correct, just
unit.
interior changes, correct.
What
And regarding the parking, if I'm looking at this plan correctly, none of these people will be parking on High Street. They all have their own parking on the lot. The duplex we're not discussing tonight, they have their own driveways, their own off-street parking.
What is
And
the
there's a
access?
paved area being provided for parking for the three-family and for the dental office that's being added.
I'd like to know what the access to High Street is going to be
The
with
same,
those
the same
driveways.
exact driveway that I'm seeing here, the same driveway that's
Just one driveway.
for what's in front of us tonight, yes.
I don't know how I can look at what's just tonight with what we're voting on, or I was talking about, without taking into consideration the rest of the people that are gonna be on that property. I don't understand how all those people that are gonna live there are gonna live there with one driveway with the access to High Street.
Well, you're welcome, I'm gonna, put this plan, is that the same plan I've got here?
I have the plan right here.
Okay, would you mind showing her the parking, just for
Sure.
clarity? I understand it's a legitimate question. If somebody doesn't understand that, I'd like to have them understand.
Right, so what's before the board tonight is this is the dental office, the existing structure in the rear. Oh,
Yeah, I just had another surgery.
This is the existing dental office.
Yes.
That's going to be converted, which will use the existing driveway. And there'll be some additional parking to the left of it. The existing home is going to add a garage, and that will be serviced separately with it,
That's already
w-
started.
with its own driveway. And then the duplexes will also have a single bay garage
Okay,
for
so
parking
you're
with
gonna-
their own driveways.
You're coming in High Street,
Correct. Using the existing driveway, correct.
okay. And now, one's gonna go here and one's gonna go here?
No, they'll use the existing driveway. There'll be new parking spaces created to the left of the existing building,
And-
but they will access it with the existing
So
driveway.
there's not gonna be any other access to High Street?
For the other structures, there will be, yes.
Where are they going?
Well, this will be one driveway for the existing home, and then there'll be driveways going to the duplexes.
Okay, I think I can understand that.
Does that answer your question?
It does.
Thank you. I'm sure there's other people here that want to, did you have more that you wanted to say?
I don't know where the other condominiums are on High Street. You mentioned, somebody mentioned that.
There's one, I think it's like 124 or something, it's on the corner, was redone a number of years ago.
Is that on the corner of Route 6 and High Street?
Doesn't go all the way to the light, it's the intersection before that. I can't think of that street, but it was redone 2-3 years or so ago, that building on the corner, the old building, very nice looking building was
And
redone.
it's all done over?
Kennedy and High Street.
Yes, okay. Yeah, there's two. Okay, thank you for listening.
You're more than welcome. Thank you for your comments. I know there's other people who want to speak. Somebody come on up and give your name and address, and
And I know that too, so thank you for
thank you,
giving me
thank
a
you,
chance
thank
to
you for your
speak.
consideration, for your time and your patience with us, too.
My name's Eric Rosinger, 113 High Street, Wareham, Mass. Just as Lois said, that Zoom call thing, we were here at 6:30, didn't get a notice, wasn't heard. Spoke with you, Jim, about it,
That's a
extremely
complaint,
upset about
that's a
it.
complaint that you need, that's not what's in front of us tonight.
But it's compounded. Anybody on this board can see the direction from this project from day one. The way he cut down the trees, the way he's been gutting it, the way he's been running through that entire site. If you didn't see it, you're blind. Everybody sees what the direction of this has been. The fact that day one he came in, he cleared, he's asking for forgiveness.
He's not asking for forgiveness or
It
anything.
is. This isn't permission. This right now, again, the first meeting tonight was about a lot that was undersized. You're 10 feet from her property line. Because they added a garage, made it even tighter to the existing structure. And for him to say that it's not going against what's going on that site, down that road, there's big, beautiful colonial homes that have been there for years. This is just
I'm gonna ask you to tell me what part of the bylaw he's violating.
all of it. Right now, you're saying that you can have one 2-inch water line that's gonna service not two duplexes, another set of duplexes in a full-size house, one 2-inch water line. You're not gonna have to do a curb stop, you're not gonna have to go tap that water line? I don't think so. I'm in development, I'm in construction, there's no way I'd put 6 houses on one 2-inch water line. Never mind the sewer line. I'm not even sure how you managed to get sewer to go across from one property from the duplex across the existing, never mind the duplex out back's going on it. One backup, one clog, you're ruining 4 homes on one sewer line.
I'm sorry, but you're talking about engineering and we're talking about
I'm just telling you
zoning.
the plan that's here before me for what they're trying to do. You're gonna put the water line for a duplex out back that you plan on selling off across 2 other properties. How's that
You're in
possible?
front of the wrong board.
Not just that, so just like she had mentioned, the ambulances come down the road. All the new signs for the emergency room are there. They blew apart the sidewalk in 2 locations. I called the sewer and water. My wife almost rolled her ankle walking on it. 3 weeks ago, I brought it up. Nobody's done anything.
So let me, maybe I'm missing the point here. We're here to talk about zoning, and you're here to talk about the building code.
Whole process, this whole process since day one.
So, again, I'll ask you your question. What part?
I don't have a question. Right now, as
No,
far
I
as
have a
which-
question.
Okay, so
My
ask-
question, I'm asking you,
Okay.
why are you sitting there?
I'm sitting here because he says that it's not detrimental to High Street. Yes, it is. It's is against safety. Yes, it is. Because of the fact that you have 2 duplex houses with a single car garage, one of those cars, if there's 2 people in that family, are gonna have to park on High Street. Where are you gonna park?
Sir, if you don't mind, do you remember when it was a dental office?
I do.
When there's cars in and out of there all the time?
Yep.
On the Church Ave side.
Ma'am.
Not the High Street.
Ma'am,
Not only that,
If
but
you're
there
gonna
was
talk
no
out
other
of turn, I'm gonna
driveways on
ask you to
High
leave
Street.
the room.
There were no other parking lots. You're taking up all of the parking on High Street for the overflow. I know because they usually park right across from me between the dentist office and the psychiatrist's office, to the point where I have to be careful. I gotta drive over the curb to get my truck off it, because they park straight across. Never mind if there's an ambulance coming. Never mind if there's a funeral. People park all the way down past 108. Now that you're gonna take up parking spots in front of that, you're gonna put 2 more cars. You have the potential for 2 to 3 more cars out on High Street. And you're already losing parking spots. Funerals, they have a funeral, they're all the way down the road. Church on Sunday, all the way down the road. And you're gonna move them further down the road.
the objection is to the church and the funeral home, but you're gonna take it out on this person.
No, I'm not taking.
I'm just listening to you.
This whole process, from day one, I run construction, I do development. Day one, this process, the way this has been done, it's as clear as day what his direction was. The plan that he submitted for the last meeting, which is right here, he asked for it to be storage. You guys agreed upon it. My first meeting here, when you were making the duplexes out back, I asked one question, Jim. Do you remember that question?
Yes.
I said, are you doing anything with the dentist office, and what was your answer?
To my knowledge, at that time, there was
You said
no.
no. You didn't say anything, you said no,
But-
nothing
but-
was happening with it.
What, but let me, I'm not gonna argue with you, I'm gonna disagree with you. You asked me, when he divided the 2 lots out back.
Yep.
If that line was coming through to High
I
Street.
did not.
And I said no.
Watch the tape. I asked you a crystal clear question, and I was perfectly clear about it. I said, what are you doing with the dentist office? You said nothing. Nothing was gonna change.
And at that application,
And again,
I
Nas
didn't make it
Nas
up,
had
I
this-
didn't lie to you.
had
You're
these
sitting here
lined up
calling
since
me
day
a
one.
liar, and I don't appreciate it.
Look at the.
I
put it
didn't
this
lie
way.
to you,
Look
I
at the
answered your
plan-
question.
The plan drawings that
And
he
you just wanna
has
sit
on
here
all
and
his
argue. If you're
drawings,
gonna just sit here and
this was
argue,
day one.
you're done. Let somebody else speak.
Again, you didn't want to hear me on the last meeting. You turned it to a Zoom call. You knew I was upset.
I changed
And when I
nothing.
talked to you, you knew I was
I
upset.
changed, you're accusing me, you're making false
I'm
accusations.
not making a false. I am crystal clear with what I'm saying. Jim.
You're just being, you're
I
being
am not.
argumentative for
Everything that
no
he
good
said
reason.
so far tonight is
I'm done
is
listening to
incorrect.
you.
You
I'm
didn't
done
listen-
listening to you.
You didn't listen to me last time.
Well, you didn't come.
This board's gonna do whatever he wants.
Anybody else that would like to speak? Yes, ma'am. I'd like to hear about what's in front of us.
Oh,
Thank you.
absolutely, but there is a backstory that needs to be on the record. My name is Terry
Get it-
DeFilippo.
Get it out.
I live on 11 Church Ave. This is my opportunity to get it out. It's my one and only opportunity that I've been
Go
given.
for it, ma'am.
I received a letter when the first 2 houses were already built on Church Ave, and I was told that it was my second notice, but it was only my first. So the clearing of the land, the construction of the houses, all of that was complete before I was asked for any input. When I called to ask what the letter meant, because I was unsure, I was dismissed like, oh, it's just a formality. They need to split the land so they can sell it as two houses, otherwise they have to sell it as one. Okay, I'm not coming to that meeting after hearing that because that's already a done deal, the way it was presented to me. Why would you build two houses and then ask to split the land? Okay, so of course that's happening without my input. Now I receive this letter. It says that I received a second notice on May 26th. I did not. This is the one and only letter that I received. I signed for it. I have the same concerns as Lois has, although I live on Church Ave. And I'm confused because the letter says, convert an existing storage building to a duplex dwelling structure. So the storage building is the dental office, correct?
I'm told.
And that's now going to be a duplex in the same footprint as the dental office, is my question. Okay, so there is the first original house that's on High Street. The dental office is behind that, and access to the dental office used to be from Church Ave. Big, long driveway, saw the traffic for many years, all kinds of illicit stuff going on there. That doesn't exist anymore because now the dental office is in a new house's backyard. So the access has to be from High Street. I'm also here because my new neighbors didn't get letters. They live directly behind this building that we're talking about. They did not receive notice. So I'm here for them also after talking to them. I don't understand in the blueprint and the amount of space that the dental office takes up, how there can be a duplex. And I also just heard a few minutes ago that it wasn't going to be a duplex, that nothing was going to be done with it. So I'm a little confused right now as to why we are here. If the dental office is not, in fact, going to be turned into a duplex, which is what it says in the letter.
That's exactly why we're here.
Okay.
But that's exactly why.
So what was the conversation a few minutes ago, that you can help me out, about how nothing's going to be done to the dental office?
The man that was speaking before me was referring.
Prior
man
to the man that spoke
the man
before
was
me.
speaking
Prior to
Prior to
him.
you, asked me in a completely different application, not this application, not what's before us tonight, during that meeting, asked me what was happening with that
No,
building.
Prior
And-
to that man
and at that-
speaking, I heard your conversation. He asked what was going to happen to it, and you said nothing at that time that you knew of.
Correct.
That's what I'm talking about. There was a statement made prior to
There was
that.
nothing on that application that had anything to do with what's in front of us tonight.
There
That
was a
what I-
statement made prior to that conversation where we all sat back there and looked at each other because the statement that was made was that nothing was going to happen to that dental office. So is it going to be a duplex or is it
That's what's in
not?
front of us this evening.
That's what we're here to
When the other plan was in front of us, this was not.
So,
So this, you.
and this isn't about, I'm going to talk because I haven't had the opportunity. I've lived with the construction.
No,
I
get it
have
out.
damage to my property because of the destruction. I've had to pay out money of my own to fix things that have been destroyed because of the construction. So now it's my turn to talk, okay?
Go for it.
I've never in my life, my family is in construction as well. I'm not. I work for Wareham Public Schools, by the way, so come at me, whatever you're, I don't care the repercussions of this. I have never seen a project pushed through and then ask for forgiveness. And not even ask for forgiveness, just get by on the little bylaws and, oh, can we tweak this license a little and this a little and that a little, ever in my life. So what it shows me is that this is going to happen whether it should or not, and that the reason why we haven't been given a voice all along is because this was all going through to begin with. That needs to be addressed on this board. And this is not the only project that this has happened with. And when you hear people over and over again saying the same thing to you people about that policies and procedures and invoices have not gone forward in the right and lies about second notices when it's really the first notice or no notice at all, that has to be addressed. My new neighbors, who I'm assuming paid a pretty price for their houses on Church Ave are now getting a duplex built in their backyard. The old, beautiful house that stands on Church Ave, on High Street, the original house, is going to have a duplex feet from its back door. How does that even make sense?
Ma'am, if you don't mind, the structure is not being changed at all. The structure is staying the same.
It's a shack. It's a one-story structure. I saw that you replaced some windows, maybe, I think. I mean, it's just, more troubling is that
To answer your...
you're not following the policies and procedures, you're telling
To answer
people
your
their
question
second
about
notices.
policies and procedures,
You're
I'd like-
asking
I'd
people
like
to
you
come
listen to me
forward
for
and
1 minute.
talk.
Just 1 minute. and
I
now
would
I'm
like
gonna
to
let you
finish,
talk.
and then you can
I was
tell
gonna,
me.
I was gonna let you rebut what I'm gonna say.
No, I don't have anything to rebut. I know what I have. I received one letter when the two houses on Church Ave were built, and I received this letter now. Both of them are telling me I received second notices, and I did not. I woke up one morning and they were clearing the land that had been an overgrown forest that I was dealing with for at least a decade. They had no regard. I've had to reset the posts on my fence from them digging out the land. I have an obsolete chimney, thank God, that is now rattled to death, and I have to take it down from the boulders that they dropped all over the property, building that retaining wall for a month. Do you know that there was a fox den living in that property? Guess where the foxes moved to? My yard, with the mice and the rabbits and everything else. And I've had to deal with that all along, and I've said nothing, but when I hear that my neighbors have also not had the voice that they need on the properties on High Street that they live in, it's time to speak up.
Thank you for your input.
Thank you. Please consider that putting a duplex in someone's backyard is absolutely ridiculous.
If there's anybody else that would like to speak this evening? Okay. I'd just like to go on record for the people in the room and anybody that may be listening. Because of the continued implications that something was pushed through, that as much as somebody likes or dislikes this project has been built according to what's currently by right in this zone. I'm sorry, sir, I didn't recognize you. I didn't recognize you, and I'm not recognizing you. You've had a chance to speak. If you'd like to come back up, come back up. Interrupt me, run your mouth for a while, and then go sit back down, and when I speak, I won't interrupt you, you don't interrupt me.
You can't sit there and say that by law, by the codes in this town of Wareham, you can put a building, a house, a duplex, 10 feet from a property line. 10 feet from a property line. And then 10 or 12 feet from a new structure next door. And a lot of this work has already been done. So
the
you're
bylaw.
saying right now, as I go, if I want to put a house or a structure on the back of my property, 10 feet from the property line, you guys are going to say yes.
Here's the rules that say
You refused the
yes.
gentleman, or you couldn't answer the
Sir,
gentleman
could you please
earlier.
just stop yelling? We come here to help out the town. We're not
You're
here to get
not.
yelled at by people.
All of this work, like both of these nice ladies just said, this work was going forward before it was approved. Every phase of it. I live across from it. I know when the meetings are. I see the work happening. Every phase of this project was moving forward before they asked for a permit. Every one of them.
You know, I think that... I think you know, but I don't think you know. So, let's just look at page 57 of the Wareham zoning bylaws, sir. Yep. Okay? And on the top of the page, there's some black letters, and one of them is WV2. And you go halfway down the page, and it says minimum side rear setback in feet. The word feet is in parentheses. Okay. I'm just reading. I'm reading because you're telling me what can and can't happen by the rules. One-family dwelling or two-family dwelling, Wareham Village 2, minimum setback, 10 feet. Other residential use,
Frontage on that lot.
10 feet.
What's the frontage on that lot?
Non-residential use.
75.
10 feet. You can try to change the subject, but when you're wrong, you're wrong.
You have 75 feet for that duplex. Answer the question.
Come back up, recognize yourself. Come back up, be wrong again.
Eric Rosinger, 113 High Street. What's the frontage on that duplex?
Which lot, sir?
The duplex that you put in,
I put nothing in, sir.
on the plan.
I put nothing in, sir.
Everything down here, everything's self-explained down here with any of these.
2 square feet in any existing structure, 2,000.
So, to answer your question, again, section 622, page 57 of the most recent copy of the zoning bylaws that were printed for me today, just especially for you, sir.
Okay.
Minimum frontage,
You
feet,
printed it today.
just, because I wanted to have
They
it
just
with me.
came out, sir, and we just got the
Minimum
copies tonight.
frontage,
Oh, these
the word
updated?
Those are
feet
brand
in
new.
parentheses.
Those are
And
the
how would I have that?
If you'd like the old one, I have the old one that I just brought up. I bring to the meeting every day.
Okay.
This is the old one, and for the record, it says revised October 9th, 2019, and could you tell me what that says?
This one says
Minimum
revised June
front
12,
frontage.
2021.
Well, we just got them.
And what's the minimum frontage under WV2 on page 57, section 622, halfway down the front, to answer your question?
It's on the sheet.
Minimum frontage in feet, WV2,
Talking about the duplex.
It's all on the same lot.
because
I'm
you
sorry.
said, don't tell me, but I don't want to tell you, I want you to read it to me.
Yeah.
You have to add these two distances.
Minimum frontage, to answer your own
167
question.
feet.
We're talking about off the garage to the.
Sir, you address the board, not him.
He talked to me first.
Well, you don't talk back to him then, just ignore him. You asked the board a question, the board's trying to answer your question, and then you're getting off in another direction. Who can follow you? Who can follow you? The minute you get the answer you don't want to hear, you go somewhere else.
if
You
you're
asked
telling-
me
if
a
you're telling- if
question.
you're-
I've been trying to answer your question for 5 minutes now. Your question was, what's the lot frontage?
Yep.
We handed you the book, we allowed you to read it. You refused to read it.
No, the
The
frontage
answer
on
to
the
the
plan,
question is,
not what it is
see,
for
you're
the-
changing the subject again. The answer to the question is 75 feet. For the record, 75 feet, to
Okay.
answer your question. Do you have another question?
No. So for the, actually.
you
I have
done?
one- I have one question.
He didn't surrender his zoning bylaws to you.
Oh, so,
That's his copy.
So one
You're more than
question.
welcome to go online and get a copy of that.
So you're saying right now, thank you. We won't be seeing anything as far as additional water lines, additional sewer lines, or
I
anything
don't know,
like that?
we're talking about zoning. I don't do
I'm just
water
saying, I
lines,
mean,
I
we're
don't
gonna-
do
I'm
sewer
not
lines,
quite sure
I
how
don't
you can
do
manage
septic
to feed
systems,
all of
I
this
don't do
property
Board of
off
Health
1 2 inch water
inspections.
line in one
Again,
sewer line.
you're trying to change the subject.
No,
I'm
and this
here
is
for
the whole
zoning.
This is the whole process for all of this. This has been kicked right along, just like these ladies have said. Since day one, it's just been kicked right along. Nobody got to be heard for the
You're
duplex.
selling an agenda to the.
I know. Again,
so-
it's, Jim, nobody wanted to be
I'm
heard.
trying to tell you that when I try to speak, you guys want to yell from the back of the room. You don't write the rules. We don't write the rules. We have to look at the rules and abide by them. And everything you're saying, I'm trying to tell you, I tried to tell you on the phone when you called me and interrupted dinner one night on my cell phone and yelled at me. And I'm trying to tell you now, the man that's doing this took the book and he said, what can I do with this property? And he rubbed his hands together and he said, by golly, I've hit a good one.
Let's chop it up.
He's not chopping it up. It's one deed.
How do you not see that? How do you not see that? You're putting a duplex in a backyard 10 feet from the structure. How's that not chopping it up?
think we're done.
I'm done arguing with you, because again, you just completely changed the subject. I'm done talking with you. I mean, you've been heard. There is a process. We make a decision. You don't like the decision, you can appeal our decision. That happened out back on Church Street, that happens on High Street, that happens on every decision we make. Nobody's been denied due process.
Yes, we were. The last meeting.
Don't talk to him back there.
No, you're not on the microphone. You've sat down, you've recused yourself from further. There's somebody with their hand up. You want to come back up, and come on back up. We're not going to let you leave the room saying you were denied the opportunity to speak 2 or 3 times.
Terry DeFilippo, 11 Church Ave. Before I leave here tonight, I would like to know who it is that I speak to make sure that going forward, abutters are given proper notification, first and second notices, anything that they're supposed to get under the laws and bylaws, all the information that they are supposed to have, so that this does not happen again.
Town clerk.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, if I could just add a couple final sentences. This project has gone through review, received, given who the applicant is, I believe, with the building commissioners, may be more scrutiny than someone else may have received. It is in compliance. It may not be pretty. Some people may not think that, but it's in a village district, which the purpose of the village district is higher density. So it does meet the zoning. What has been done in accordance with the standards. And to answer a couple statements that were made outside of what we're here for tonight regarding the water service, number one, the water layout on the plan was as designed or laid out by Mr. Cunningham in the water department. We approached him, gave him copies of the plans. He marked up a sketch, gave it to us, sized everything out, where the water shutoffs go, the size of the services. So yes, what is shown on the plan is more than adequate.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in the room this evening that would like to speak either in favor or opposed to this project? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to close the public portion of this hearing.
So moved.
Is that seconded?
Second.
Been moved and seconded, moved by Richard Semple and seconded by Jacob Morrison to close the public portion of this. All in favor, say aye.
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 There'll be no further discussion on this matter. Would anybody like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve this project.
Do I have a second?
I second.
I have a first and a second to approve a special permit as presented on a plan by GAF Engineering. Is there a date on this plan? Yes, there is. Dated 3/7/22. Plan to accompany zoning board of appeals application, LT Development LLC, 10 Pond Edge Trail. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. It carries. Thank you for your time. Thank you all for your input. Anybody that's aggrieved by this decision there is a process. They can go within 20 days of this decision and do whatever they feel is appropriate.
Thank you, members.
2, 3, 4. Who is, okay, 4, 0. We have Well, that's, the guy,
Well,
they're
time out.
upset,
Not
I
even
understand they're
fault. It's all by
upset.
We didn't send the letters out, we didn't do anything with it.
We don't, that's not us.
Can you make a motion to close the hearing?
I want to get this signed first, if you don't mind. Reasons for granting,
I'd like to see that go on in the school committee meeting without somebody being arrested. How do we get to be yelled at? I don't understand it.
well, they were upset, let them get it off their chest, let them feel as though.
I
they-
agree, I
Guy was
agree,
staring
but,
at me for 5 minutes. just-
but he was staring at him, and that's a threat as far as I'm concerned.
And,
And the way he talked to you out of the corner, out of the back room, that's not,
if you had heard the phone call that he made to me,
that's not right either.
but that's, what they're advised to do is go get an attorney and give the attorney his fee and let the attorney tell them they're wrong. And if they want to pay an attorney to say, you know, that's their decision. I understand people get upset, they don't understand that some of this stuff happens by right, and therefore there's not a need for a, notice to be sent out. I didn't write anything on here. Go ahead, guys, sign.
Hold on.
Just getting yelled at for all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
Meeting minutes, everything.
yeah,
It's all us. Well, I guess we're a team.
That's Jim's fault.
that's, yeah.
I'd like to be known that we sat here and took their aggression. And I think that any board, from select board to the school board, they should do the same thing. Sit and listen to everything that they got to say instead of being shut down. It's freedom of speech, they had their right, everybody has their right.
Everybody has signed that needs to sign. Now we can have a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I think there was something else that we should have done, but I'm not sure.
You have a lot of jobs today, Jim.
Business.